Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to another match review. Last match of the season, we've lost 2-1 to Man United in the FA Cup final. If you couldn't already tell, my voice is going. I've been ill for the last week. But listen, I feel like we just can't leave that there. There has to be some sort of conversation about this game because it was awful. To put it bluntly, it was terrible. Absolutely everybody to a man was terrible. Before I do go and break it down a bit further, if you could do me a massive favour and please leave a like on this video. Massively appreciated. And subscribe if you are new. We are very close to 9k. We had to hit that before the season ended. Still technically possible because there is football still to be played as a Champions League final. But our season is now over. Like I said, let's just get into it, man. Let's just get into it. Reason why I'm doing this is because we did a watch along. Q kind of vented his frustrations throughout the game. So, his thoughts are kind of just out there and aired along the watch along, especially towards the end when we just kind of had a conversation. And I'm calm. I'm really calm. I kind of got most of my frustrations out at the end of the watch along and at half time in the game in the watch along because being in the there and now, of course, when we talk about the season, maybe we'll do that. Maybe in a few days' time, we'll talk about the season as a whole. It's a good season, but this is not what we're talking about. We're talking about a one-game thing. And it's the FA Cup final, and it hurts to lose any final. It hurts to lose any game of football, but especially to that lot, because they are shit. They are terrible. It shouldn't be a game that you look at and go, they have a negative goal difference. They finished 8th. You can't be allowed to have that happen. And I mean, there are so many things that went wrong. I mean, I try and pick out both positives and negatives. I usually try and pick out, I'll start with positives, maybe think of a few things that, maybe could be better or could be improved if I can. And, kind of sum up the game, both sides, balanced argument, keep it balanced. That's the way I normally do things, but it's just not possible. Your only positive you're getting from me is Jeremy Doku. His second season, which again, notoriously, with players under Pep, was struggling their first season. He's a very young player as well, so he was only going to get better anyway. But his second season, it looks frightening. It really looks frightening. If he can gain just a little bit of consistency in his game, it looks like we really have a player there. So that is your positive. He scored the goal when he came on, was making things happen. He's probably our most dangerous player, and he only played one half football. That sums up the game. Moving on to the negatives, which there are plenty of. Let's just start with the obvious team selection. This is where I want to start. I want to start with the manager because he's not immune from criticism, I think is the thing that people have to remember. Just because he's broke pretty well every record, set new standards, won in every season apart from his first, won a trophy, brings success, played some of the best football I've ever seen. But he's not immune from criticism, and today he takes some criticism because his team selection was baffling. Absolutely baffling. I don't really understand where he's getting it from. I mean, he's taken his best defender this season, most consistent defender this season, Emmanuel Akanji. Played the last 10 games before that in the run-in in the Premier League, played the last 10, was, again, been our best defender this season, very consistent. You can point to a couple of moments, maybe where he slipped, played Son in. But apart from that, really, really solid. And he's decided to drop him for a John Stones, who basically just hasn't played this season. And not got a consistent run in the team because he's always been injured. Doesn't matter how good he is, he's always been injured. And the best form of ability is availability. And that has become a problem with John Stones. Now, I'll kind of summarise at the end, but I kind of want to leave that there because I want to move on to other things. Let's move on to Kyle Walker, who I thought started off the game pretty well, dealt with Rashford, but that second goal, he's caught ball watching. He's just not in the game. He's completely uninterested, not concentrating, and Mainu's free in the box, in the back post, which is where he should have been. It's just not good enough, and that sums up Kyle Walker's season. Yeah, he's great when you've got a Vinicius or an Mbappe, but that happens once or twice a season. For the other 50-odd games that we end up playing every season, He's not good enough. He just doesn't concentrate. He's cost us goals before this season. My mind instantly goes to Newcastle away, where he cost us one, if not both, of the goals we conceded there. I remember the Anthony Gordon one, clear as day, where he just allows him to cut inside on his stronger right foot. Just lazy, not running out to him, letting him have the space to get the ball, not putting any pressure on him. It's just lazy. And I've said this for a few weeks now. He cannot be the captain going into next season. If he's going to stay, I would not have him as the captain. He's not captain material. He's not. He's not good enough in terms of on the pitch example. And he doesn't strike me as a leader off the pitch either. He's too busy doing interviews every week. He just can't continue to be captain. I don't want my captain coming out every month on a new podcast and saying random shit. I don't want that. I don't want that. We didn't have our previous captains doing that, going on Rio Ferdinand's podcast and chatting and answering tough questions. You don't need to do that, going to the Sun. It's unnecessary. And that sums up his season. It's a really, really poor season, too inconsistent, and he's supposed to be the captain. And I'm going to move further forward now into the midfield. I mean, do we need to have a serious discussion about Kevin De Bruyne? Do we need to reevaluate his role in the team? Potentially. I think potentially you do. It's bordering on the stage now where he can't play more. You can't rely on him to give you an hour. And if you can't rely on him to give you an hour, you can't rely on him to start a game of football. I still maintain this season, if I'm just looking at this season where he missed half of it, so he never got a pre-season, never got a chance to build up to the season, so I get it. But his most impactful moments and impactful performances, for the most part, the period where he was the most consistent was bench appearances. 30 minutes at the end of the game to see it out. That was where he was the best. When I look at the games that he started, few good ones, few bad ones. And when I say few bad ones, I mean few really bad ones. I'm not talking bad as in, maybe subpar for his standards. No, I'm talking about absolutely ridiculously bad, honking performances. Today, completely useless. It was a detriment to the team. Same thing, FA Cup semi-final against Chelsea. He put the effort in against Chelsea, but from a technical standpoint, he was absolutely abysmal. Like, there are games like that, and it's not just like a one-off thing. He's been very inconsistent since he's come back, which I can give him a bit of grace. Because again, he didn't have a pre-season. He didn't have time to build up for this. This was him being thrown back in after 6 months out. But next season, you need to watch this. You need to sign someone in that position. Because there is a realistic possibility that this guy cannot start games of football. That is a realistic possibility that I don't think many people want to have that conversation because of how good he has been and what he's done for the club. But there becomes a point where if it's that much of a detriment where he's playing poor and he's taken off after an hour because he's so poor. He's been poor before, but you leave him on in the hopes that he does something. But this is twice now. This is the second time that I can remember. Anfield also, where he's taken off after an hour because he's just not doing anything. He's just hurting us, giving the ball away, turning the ball over easy. So there has to be a good conversation there in the summer of what is the plan? Do you do what Real Madrid have done with Modric, which is kind of what I'm leaning towards, of where, he starts the occasional game, but, for the most part, he's a bench player, comes on for 30 minutes, helps you see out a game, or helps you get back into a game. I could see that. I wouldn't be against that, but there has to be a serious conversation. Likewise with Bernardo Silva, not in the same category because he's not, physically declining, but how much is his head in it? Again, he was poor today. Absolutely terrible. Kept giving the ball away. He wouldn't take on his fullback either. It was just a non-factor. And he keeps flirting with the idea of leaving. It's another situation that needs resolving. And I think that's kind of the point where I'm at now, where I don't think the summer we just had, building up to this season, was sufficient enough. I don't think it was. For the future, maybe, who knows, when you've got Doku and Vardio. And Vardio not very good today, but shown very bright sparks in recent weeks and months. But you've got to look at the summer and go, it wasn't sufficient. We didn't sufficiently replace the players that we lost for the right here, right now. And that can't happen again. Cannot happen again. So I'm looking at the future of Kyle Walker and going, if an offer comes in, I'd probably sell. Cut our losses because he's not been good this season. Kevin De Bruyne, I don't think I'm in that situation where if an offer comes in, I'd sell, but I'd very much reevaluate his, role in the team, his position. Leader, no doubt. Very important still, no doubt. Very experienced, knows how to win, can still play at a good level. But for how long can he play at a good level? How consistently can he play at a good level? How regularly can he play at a good level? It's those sort of questions that need to be asked. John Stones, how can he stay fit? Can he stay fit? Can he stay fit for more than a season? If not, best cutting your losses there. Bernardo Silva, can you find a home for him? Or will he just suck it up and deal with it and realise that he's going to stay? Tough questions. Really, really tough questions to answer. And the club have to answer them. They have to do sufficient business in the transfer market. I think that's kind of where I'm at with this game, is it's taught me so much about this team that is basically running on fumes for the last, because of the last few seasons, that it needs replacing. It needs a big refresh and an intake of, quality players, not projects like Doku and Vardy. Needs quality players. Because we've got a few players in here that either aren't good enough or are coming to the end of their cycle. And that's what this game has taught me, that you need to be ruthless in football. You need to be ruthless. Man United aren't good. I said it at the start of the video, they're shit. They finished 8th. They had a -1 goal difference. But they beat us because they wanted it more. They worked harder than us. That's the be-all and end-all. Talent only gets you so far. You've got to work for it. They put in more effort than us. They wanted it more than us. And that's why they won the game. Because they're not better than us. They're not. We just didn't want it. And another thing that grinds my gears as well, I just remembered it now. I can't believe I forgot it. Another thing, they wanted it more. They prepared better than us. Their season's been over for weeks, right? Good chance they've been preparing for this cup final for a number of weeks, knowing that their season is over. This is all they really had to play for. So this, they prepared for this game. They knew what to expect. They knew what they were going to do. They had a game plan. What was our preparation? 3-day bender after winning 4 in a row and 2 days training. That was it. We won the league on Sunday. All the players went out and got pissed, reported back to training on Wednesday. So Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, then they were back on Wednesday. Report back on Wednesday for Thursday, Friday. Their preparation was going out and partying until the early hours of the morning. We're undercooked again. We did this in Porto. Remember Porto? Champions League final that we lost? Players went out, partied after they won the league, turned up in Porto, undercooked. Didn't really have a game plan. All over the place because we didn't prepare properly and we lost. Same thing happened today, in my opinion. We partied, which you're allowed to do, I guess, because you have won 4 in a row, so you're allowed to celebrate. But be professional about it. Know that you've still got a cup final. Don't undercook yourself. And that's what we've done again today. So those are my main 2 takeaways from this game. Is that there's a lot of thinking to do and a long time to think on it as well. This is the last game of the season. City don't play again until about August. Or at least don't play competitive fixtures till about August. So you've got a long time to think on this one. And decisions have to be made. You need to be smarter with decision making and preparation. But main takeaway, apart from the fact that I'm just a little bit pissed off with the fact that we've lost and we haven't prepared well enough and all the celebrating and drinking and all of that, just unprofessionalism. The main takeaway I'm taking is has to be a big summer. There are players that need replacing, there are players that need selling, there are positions that we need to strengthen. And it's become even more clear with that game. More clear with that game, I can assure you of that. It's not changed my stance. I thought we needed a big summer. That's just, we've gone to show even further that we need more. We need more. We didn't deserve anything out of that game. Man United fully deserved the win. They fully deserved the win. I don't even think they played, unbelievable or anything. But they had a game plan and we played terrible. And it worked. So, look, I'm going to leave it there because my voice is finished. I don't want to talk about this game. I want to forget about it, move on with my life. Season's over. We didn't do the double. Technical treble. Club World Cup, Super Cup, Premier League. Really feel like a treble though. Feels like just the Premier League to me because of how early the other 2 were won. So, listen, we may do a season recap at some point, which will be a lighter note because it has still been a very successful season. But in terms of, again, like I said, the right here, right now, we've lost. And it's not a good feeling given the fact that, we've lost out on a trophy. And it's to Man United of all teams. So, Look, I'm going to wrap it up here. Thanks very much for watching. If you do me a massive favour on your way out, please leave a like. We massively appreciate it, and subscribe if you are new. Link at the top line in the description if you want to become a channel member, and we'll see you tomorrow for a late night chat where we will dissect this and go into further detail about it. And I suppose you don't laugh, you cry, so join us there.